Doodlebud here, and this is my Montblanc 149. I just put it back into my 2-pen case for regular rotation, and I had to ask myself, if I had to start all over again, if I lost this pen, if it was broken, if it was damaged, stolen, whatever it is, would I be inclined to go out and get another Montblanc 149 to replace it? Would I want to do that? Or I'm at the point now where I have lots of other pens and just be like, meh, not that special. Let me give you my thoughts. The first thing I want people to know that from as little as $3, $4, $5 all the way up to, $1,000 plus, there are fantastic pens. And it doesn't necessarily mean that really expensive pens write way better than the cheaper pens. There are some very low cost, very affordable fountain pens that I think are absolutely fantastic. But of course, there are some more expensive ones. They are very fantastic, and it's a different experience altogether. So I picked my 149 up secondhand, not new. The reason I did that is I feel that brand new, these are priced just too high. It's a nice pen. It has a huge number 9 nib on here, gold nib. Beautiful. They've done a good job with branding and marketing. They are an example to show you how much power is in a brand. So good for them. But new, I think out of the box, it's too much money for what it is. So I set a price in my mind that I thought was, reasonable. If I could get this pen for so much money, I would feel okay with that. The price I had in mind was $300. I got this one for just over $300 a number of years ago, but nonetheless, I picked it up for that price. Took a long time. Lots of auctions I lost out on, and I had to sort of stick to my guns, and I did, and I got a good pen. New old stock. This is an older one, late 80s. It has W Germany on the cap band. It has the split ebonite feed. They no longer do that. It would be nice if they went back to an ebonite feed, but they are ABS. The ABS feeds keep up fine, but at this price point, they could pony up the extra couple bucks and make them all ebonite. I'm out of fin. I don't know exactly what happened when that happened, but it popped off, so it's the way it is. It's got a little wear and tear on it. It's been around the block. It's got a little wear and tear here on the nib. I was polishing it with this polishing cloth, and I wasn't thinking. I thought I was, shining her up, but I took a little bit of the planing off. You can see that there. So the gold's coming through off the two-tone. So be careful with the cloths you're using. Mine, I guess there's a little bit of abrasive or something, just not the right thing you should be using on there. There are Proper's jeweler's cloths that you can shine this with, but mine obviously was not the right one. It took a little bit of that off. So be very careful if you have plated nibs on the cloth that you're using when you go to shine it up. It is extremely comfortable in the hand. Piston filler, all that stuff. I'm not going to do a full Montblanc 149 breakdown review type video. So I enjoy it a lot. I like the size of it. I like the looks of it. The ink window is really nice and very practical. It seals extremely well. This is one of my most reliable, best performing pens. I really have nothing about it I don't enjoy. However, if I got another new one, well, let me correct myself. I wouldn't buy it new. If I got another one that's new to me, so it'd be secondhand, and if I got it just with a regular nib on it, I probably would not enjoy it a ton. This nib has been ground by yours truly. So this has a fine cursive italic on there, and it's a fine point nib. It's a very tiny little detail. At the end of the video, I'll just do a writing sample. I'll do some writing with it. I won't talk. It'll just be straight fountain pen writing for those folks who like that stuff. So I'll do that at the end to show you what it looks like. I spent time on this one. This is actually only the second nib I ever ground, but I got it just the way I like it. The wetness, the line variation, the smoothness, where I like it with a little bit of crispiness to it. So this is exactly the way I want it. If I just picked up another Montblanc 149 with a fine nib or medium nib, I would probably feel like it's really not worth it. It's just another nice pen with just another regular nib, and that wouldn't be enough for me on this particular pen. Because after all, there are other pens on the market that are very similar to the 149 that just have regular nibs on them, and they perform just well. The Jinhao X159. Again, it's not my favorite, but it is a decent performing pen. It works all right. I wish they went and essentially maybe just released it again. If they took the larger converter from the 9019 and just packaged it in, because it is a good pen, but it's quite large, and some people think it's just too much for them, but a lot of people like the X159. And if they just took the innards from this one and did another release of the X159 with that new converter. I think that'd be a nice idea. But yeah, these are mega affordable. I've messed around with mine. I did a video. I tried grinding the nib with a rock. It didn't turn out so great, but I finished the job. It just has a thicker cursive italic. So I essentially copied my 149 into my Jinhao X159 for fun, and I beat this thing up. I don't really care what happens to it. I'd chuck it in a bag without a case. I would not do that with this one. It's always being transported in some type of case. So these are great for that. You know, if you like your 159, your 149, if you have a real one and just want to travel around and chuck one around, this is the pen for that. You can have lots of fun on it. If you are thinking about purchasing one of these and want to sort of feel it out a little bit before you do, you know, you can pick up the X159, but just honestly, other than dimensions, I don't think it's going to replicate it as well. I would say go for a few dollars more and you get the Wing Sung 630. It is again, yep, they've been inspired. But the design is very, very close, but I think it's a better replica of a 149. All right, it's got, yeah, I mean, look at that. It's a copycat pen of the 149, but they do a good job of it. It's well made. It's also a piston filler, so you're getting more of a feel of it. And so if you were on the fence and just weren't quite sure, you know, because they are expensive, if you want to do that, I would bypass the 159. It's a good pen just for what it is. Just leave it at that. But if you're trying to get the feel of 149, I would just spend a few dollars more and get the 630. It's a much, much better pen. It's not crazy expensive. I think it's maybe $30 or $30. I don't know. I can't remember. I'll have a link in the description down there to where I've gotten some of mine from, so you can check that out. But they're very affordable, well made. Now this one has the gold nib on it. It has the heartbeat nib. I'm not a fan of the heartbeat nib. I would just go for their regular slit that they have. Yeah, the tipping on it seems strange. I ended up grinding this one also to a fine cursive italic to sort of mimic my regular 149. I'm getting mixed up with my numbers here. But yeah, the nib with that heartbeat cut, just something about it. Also, I have a Jinhao here with a heartbeat cut. I didn't care for that one either. Just they seem a little off. So I would just go for a regular slice on your nib. This one here, you can also get them. They have a few different models, so you can have flat tops if you like that look a little bit more. Reminds me of a little more like a Sailor King of Pen, the Pro Gear with the flat tops. So if you sort of like that look too, instead of the classic Shigar with rounded tops. I do have to tell you, with the large nib on this one, this is the steel nib. This is a really good steel nib, right? Like, yeah, if it took me a long time to find a replacement, I would pick up one of these with the steel nib to sort of tide me over. And also too, if you're thinking about picking one of these up, this would be the one to get. Just get one of these with a steel nib. It's a really, really good steel nib. And honestly, I haven't written with many other 149s. I think maybe one or two others. That's about it. Maybe only one other. And they were just standard nibs. And I didn't really think they were that great. They were nice. It was smooth. But if it was a medium, it rolled like a medium. If it was a fine, it rolled like a fine. It didn't really do anything interesting for me. I kind of felt when I wrote with the standard nib, it really wasn't quite worth it. That it wrote just as well as, maybe not this pen, but any other comparable pen with a nice nib that was, you know, a fraction of the price. So a stock nib, unless you're getting one of their sort of beautiful custom ones, just a regular fine or medium or whatever, they write well, they're really nice. But at least for me, I would want something fun done to that pen. But I will say there is a very noticeable difference. When I hold this one in my hand, it feels completely different. The material feels different. Yes, they are all plastic. Yes, I know. It's special plastic, they say, but it's done extremely well. This is just PMMA, but they do a great job. It's nicely polished. It feels nice in the hand. The Wing Sung, it feels a little bit softer, a little, I don't know, it just has a little more squishiness to it. There's nothing wrong with it, but it doesn't feel quite as nice. It feels okay, but a little more stickiness, a little more squishiness to the plastic. This just feels a little bit nicer. Now, it might mean it's more brittle and more prone to cracking, so just, you know, don't drop them. Look, if you drop things, a lot of times they break, if you haven't noticed already. pens or not. But it does feel quite a bit nicer in the hand. The piston's a little bit smoother. Just the one turn to rotate. Like I said, these perform extremely well. This performs pretty darn well, and lots of other pens perform fantastically. But when I put my 149 in my hand and I write with it, with the custom ground nib I have on here, it is just exactly what I want. And honestly, if I lost it, if it broken, was stolen, whatever it was, I would want to get another one. I don't know how much of a rush I would be because I have quite a few other pens. If I lost all my pens, yeah, I would probably get a little bit quicker. I think it would be pretty much the exact same pen. I would look for another older one with the ebonite feeds and probably even a fine nib again, and I would most likely grind it to the exact same grind I have on here. This is set up really for the way I like it, for the type of writing I do, and for printing notes or longer writing, whatever it is. It's extremely comfortable, seals well, lots of ink. I like the ink window, just everything. More often than not, it's in my little 2-pen case. I pop it in here, and so when I'm not busy reviewing a lot of pens that come in, sometimes I don't get to enjoy the pens I have as much as I want to because I have to review other pens. Not complaining, but it's just, the way it is. Sometimes I need to test everything, so I don't get to put as much mileage on some of my favorites as much as I want. One of my favorite pairings to go with my 149 is my Lamy 2000, especially this one. This has the cursive italic, so it's thicker, thin cross strokes, thicker downstrokes. This has a fine architect that I ground, so it's the opposite, thicker cross strokes, thinner downstrokes. So I find this is a really nice pairing together. They both perform extremely well, and ink windows, slip cap, all that sort of stuff. This is one of my favorite pairings, is my 149 and my Lamy 2000 together. If this is the only 2 pens I had, or if I lost all my pens but I just happen to have this group with me, I'd be a happy camper. I'd be like, that sucks. I'd get more pens again, but I'd be pretty happy if I was just left with these 2 together. I also like to pair it sometimes with a retractable nib, so just something that's just nice and easy. Pop it out, quick notes, whatever it is. I was using the Enso Bolt. My 149 was riding shotgun, so this was quite nice. I would do all sorts of stuff with this one, but like I found, I like it more for printing over writing, and so I'd pop out my 149 when I wanted to get into some more writing. So those are my thoughts on the 149 if I would get one again, and the answer is yes. I would exercise patience so I could get the deal I was looking for and the pen I was looking for. Instead of just going down to the store and picking one up, I would probably have pen regret. I wouldn't be 100% satisfied if I did that with this pen by any means. What I'll do now, like I said at the start, I'll do some writing, so I'm going to end off the video here. I'll do some writing mostly with the 149. Maybe I'll chuck in a little bit of this. You can see that nib. I'll show you how this one writes, and since this one has a funky grind, this will make a little appearance there. So anyways, if you like the video, thumbs up is nice. Subscribe is great. Comments is awesome. Description, lots of information, and a join button if you're up to it. We will catch you next time.